Hey everybody, I'm DeMarcus. Welcome to my studio. Actually, this studio is in the bottom floor of my home. My wife actually went through the trouble of putting up all of our plaques and our awards, and we kind of have all of the envelopes that were at the CMA Awards over the years when we won Vocal Group of the Year. It's kind of cool to have these original copies here. This is kind of the heart and soul of the studio. Here's the mixing console up front. It's an SSL Duality. We've got a bunch of great outboard gear here that we've collected over the years. We have made the last 6 Rascal Flatts records here, so there's been a lot of music and a lot of hits made right here in this room, and it's pretty cool to be able to walk down to it whenever I want to. So back behind you here, we've got a bunch of vintage guitars. One thing I'm really fanatical about is collecting old vintage guitars. There's just something I love about the feel of a piece of wood that's been around for years and years and years, and once I get my hands on one that I really fall in love with, it's hard to let go of. So over the years, I've been able to collect a lot of nice vintage pieces. We got a vintage mini Moog right here that I've had for several years that I just love. It's a staple of the studio. This Fender Rhodes right here was actually my father's Fender Rhodes, so it's kind of cool to have it in the studio with me all the time. On in here is the main tracking room. This is where we track drums. So we've got about 8 different drum kits, I think it is, and we've got all kinds of different cymbals, all different kinds of snare combinations. It's really great. The drums sound huge in here. It doesn't look big, but because of how they've treated the ceiling and the rock wall behind us, the sound really explodes in here. And it's a great, big, huge drum sound. It's really cool. Just like with the guitars, I love collecting amplifiers too, and so I've been able to collect some of my favorites over the years. There are a couple of old Bassman heads here, Bogner head. There's that's a 1968 Marshall head that my dear friend Tom Bukovac found for me. This booth right here is called the phone booth because of the, you guessed it, payphone in the booth. This is a non-working payphone. A lot of people try to make calls in here. This is usually where our singer tracks. When we're doing vocals, we put the singer in here. It sounds great. It does everything you want a room to do. It's nice and dead in here. And personality. I told you, we got plenty of it here. This is in honor of the late, great Powers Booth, the actor. Engineers that have worked in here over the years. Everybody from Sean Neff to Nick Lane to my dear friend Derek Basin, and every engineer that works here really finds something special and unique about this place and comments on how great that it sounds. And it's deceptively great because when you walk in, it doesn't look like it's big enough to really have the massive sound that it does. So the way that Carl Tatz designed it and treated it really allows for it to be surprisingly live and surprisingly great. Remember those drum kits I was telling you about? Here's where we store them all. This is kind of our storage closet. We store all of our drum kits there. There are all of our snares, all of our toms, all of our floor toms, obviously. If you've been following me on my socials over the years, you've seen this room quite a few times, but this is kind of my workspace. This is where I do a lot of spend a lot of my time when I'm making records. There is another booth that we've named. This is the John Wilkes booth. Seeing a pattern here? So we do a lot of vocals in there. Sometimes when I'm producing a record and working with a singer, just the two of us will be in here, and it's a nice little intimate space to work in. We've got a lot of vintage keyboards. I actually have the first DX7 that I ever got when I was a kid. I think I was 13 years old when my dad bought it for me. You know, it's just a great place. There's a little bit of everything in here. I got a guitar rig in here, so if I hear a guitar part, I can play a guitar part really quickly. This is kind of my office every day. This is where I spend most of my time building tracks or writing songs, and a lot of times what we do in Nashville now is when we're writing songs, we build the demo at the same time. So we'll have a couple guys in this room and we'll all be writing a song, and at the same time I'm sort of building a track to present that song in its demonstration mode. So that's what in fact, yesterday I was working on this song right here. Brand new, hot off the presses. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed the tour of the Grip. This is a special place. We've made a lot of special music here. Take care.